You are a spirit. You have a soul, and you live in a body. Most of us believe we are the soul or the body, but that's far from the truth. You are a spirit. That's the real you. Now, each part God created, of course, has its own functions. The body is responsible for our five senses: sight, smell, sound, taste, and touch. The function of the soul is our mind, will, and emotions: peace, joy, sadness, depression, etc. All of those are emotions, and they are in the soul, not the body or the spirit. This is why we can almost know how someone is feeling emotionally when we look at them in the eyes, because the eyes are the window to the soul. You can see their emotions through the soul. Now, the function of the spirit is our intuition, our consciousness, and most importantly, this is where our fellowship with God is. This is where God and you are connected at all times. You don't commune with God through your body, even though sometimes God can manifest through your five senses and will allow you to feel Him. We shouldn't rely on trying to commune with God through the body. That's walking in your feelings over faith. If you desire to know God and walk with God 24/7, well, we are in touch 24/7 with the Father through our spirit. John 4:24 says, God is a spirit, and they that worship Him must worship Him in spirit and in truth. This is the most intimate way to be with God. God will speak and guide you through your intuition, which is in our spirit. Your intuition knows things before your mind and body does. It knows things that will happen before they even happen. And that's because it's connected to God. And God will use the intuition to give you information. That's why it's important for us to begin to walk in the Spirit so that we can get familiar with how God talks to us and guides us. It says in the Bible that those who joined Christ in His death and resurrection and are born again will be led by God within. It's within the Spirit. And before you are born again, yes, you still have a human spirit, but it's not a spirit of God. So when you are given the Holy Spirit and a new spirit of power, love, and a sound mind, it's important and very powerful for you to realize how to walk in the Spirit, how to live from the Spirit, how to communicate from the Spirit, basically how to do everything from the Spirit. Because that's the way we all should be walking through life. The Spirit is life, and it's 1,000 times more powerful and intelligent than the mind and body. The body is actually now dead once you accept Christ, so there's no way for you to find life in it. Romans 8:10. And if Christ is in you, the body is dead because of sin, but the Spirit is life because of righteousness. Your spirit is life. And more you get in touch with it, the life that Christ gives us through the Spirit will eventually bleed into the soul, which will help renew the mind. It will give us joy through our emotions, peace throughout the body and mind. And as the soul begins to be healed, the soul will bleed into the body. And this is how healing miracles can happen for the body. Romans 8:11. But if the Spirit of Him who raised Jesus from the dead dwells in you, He who raised Christ from the dead will also give life to your mortal bodies through His Spirit who dwells in you. So what you want is the life that is in your spirit to flow into your soul and then into your body. But it all starts with the Spirit. So how do we get in touch with it? Well, the Spirit is who you already are. You just have to be conscious of it more often. It will take some practice, but it's very, very simple. You let go of all thinking, all of it. Don't touch a single thought. Now, if you have been suffering for a long time and you've made the soul your home for a while, the mind will create resistance once you start this. You may notice when you try to let go of thinking, your mind gets afraid and it will pull your attention back into it. But it is you that is holding on to these thoughts. But you have to ignore it and let it go. You have to let go of the belief that you have to think about your life to keep it together, because that's not true. This is where trust in God comes in. God says not to worry. So we don't have to worry about anything. You are being guided by His Spirit. We think that constantly thinking about our life situation, or whatever it may be, is what we have to do to move forward or to figure something out. But the opposite is actually true. Less thinking allows solutions to arise. When you let go of thinking completely, letting go of expectations, judgments, letting go of how things should or shouldn't be, how things should or shouldn't feel. When you let go of needing and wanting to know, and you slip into being. This is where you actually first begin to tap into who you really are. And this is how you open up to receive guidance from God. This is how to start to walk in the Spirit. This is where the peace of God is. The strength of God is here. It's beyond thought. This is why God says to be still, to just be, to let go of everything and just be. And you can't think your way into this. It's simply letting go of your grip on thoughts. They will come, but don't touch them. Doing this will give you moments of complete presence and stillness. You'll start to slip into this presence where deep wisdom is found. You tap into a state of being where you realize that you can live your life this way instead of living life through the mind. Because in the Spirit arises creativity, joy, peace, guidance from God, love, kindness, energy, common sense, patience, deep wisdom, and of course, life. It's important to know what the Spirit holds for us. So when we are thinking, instead of using the mind as a guide for our life, and instead of using it to worry, use it only as a tool. You don't need to think about 98% of the things you think about. It's not holding your life together. If you pay close attention to what the mind is actually creating, it's creating 100% of your suffering in the first place. It's creating a negative perception of whatever situation it's thinking about half of the time. And there's no need for that. It doesn't help, and it's never helped. So use it to place your mind on the truths of the Spirit more often. God told us to do this. Romans 8:6. For to set the mind on the flesh is death, but to set the mind on the Spirit is life and peace. Remind yourself that your spirit is a spirit of God. You're a new creation. You're a child of God. Your spirit is life because it's righteous. Get your mind to focus on that, because that's who you really are. And knowing who you really are will renew your mind. Knowing who you really are will help you realize who you belong to and who you are walking through life with. In conclusion, walking in the Spirit is about aligning with your true identity as a spirit connected to God. It requires letting go of constant thinking, worry, and reliance on the mind and body, and instead tapping into the deep presence of God within. By trusting God and allowing the life in your spirit to flow, you begin to experience healing, peace, and divine wisdom. This life flows from the spirit into the soul, renewing your mind and emotions, and then into the body, bringing wholeness and vitality. Walking in the Spirit is living in God's presence, where true life, joy, and peace are found.